challenges, technical. Thanks, Prabhat. So if there are any technical challenges or anything, please put in the chat window. We'll sort it out. And we are always there. And any questions, either in the chat window or you can just raise your hand and voice up. So that should be okay. So with this, I hand it over to Lucia. Lucia, welcome and thank you once again for joining our meetup and taking up this topic for today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here, and thanks for organizing the session, and welcome to everyone who has joined us today. We'll talk about emotional intelligence and why it matters, particularly in the workplace. And the reason why I'm passionate about this topic is because we don't talk about emotions, and we don't talk about the impact of in our organizational context. So this is what we're going to explore today. I'll tell you a little bit more about me. I am Italian. I was born here in Italy, and I live in Italy now. But I lived abroad for quite some time in the UK colony Gibraltar in the south of Spain, where I actually had the opportunity to work with a lot of Indian colleagues because there are multinational companies. I haven't been that luck to visit your country, which could be one of my next destination potentially. And I am an organizational coach, but I also founded a school that is called Coaching Outside the Box in 2016 when I was living in Gibraltar. And my professional coaching journey changed me a lot and got me to discover stuff about myself, but also how I could improve my relationship. And emotional intelligence is one of those things. And so without further ado, I'm going to start sharing my screen so that you can see my Miro board. And actually a big reveal, there's going to be 3 discounted tickets, and it's a 50% discount, so very generous, that I'm offering to the people that will stay here until the end and that are interested in deepening their knowledge about coaching. Now, let's start deeper into this topic. And what I'd like to share with you is what you're going to learn today. So we'll explore what emotional intelligence is, how it's relevant in the workplace, but also in your relationships, and the impact of having a low emotional intelligence. Now, the good news about it is that emotional intelligence is not like IQ, which is something you have and you can't change, unfortunately. Emotional intelligence, it's like a muscle that can be developed and grown. And so it's an amazing opportunity for us and for our clients, because we can also help our clients grow their emotional intelligence. But let's define it. Let's see what it is and how it can be sort of categorized or broken down into skills. So emotional intelligence is the capability of being aware and manage somehow our own emotions, but also leverage them to have more productive, effective interpersonal relationships. So it's about understanding how we're feeling, being able to control how we feel without overreacting, for example, but also being aware of what is happening for others and using that information to have productive relationships. Now, we can split these into two components, let's say, and 4 skills. The part that is about me means I can understand my own emotions, so I'm aware of what is happening to me, and I can also manage my emotions effectively. So as you can imagine, this in relationships mean I'm not going to overreact. Like someone is attacking me, for example, which I'm sure is something that happened to you. Instead of responding unskillfully and overreacting or being triggered and demonstrating strong emotions that could damage relationship, you are capable of pausing and reflecting on the best answer to give in a calm and constructive way. The social competence, instead, is the part that is about others. So we understand how others are feeling. This is about empathy, for example, and empathizing with what other people are experiencing. But it's also about how we use this information to improve our relationships or to influence the energy. Imagine you are a coach, for example. This means you understand the energy in the room, what your team is going through, and you're also able to use your skills to influence what they are experiencing in the moment in a productive way. Any questions so far? Feel free to use the chat, please, because let's make this a little bit interactive. There's someone who has the audio on. Can I kindly ask you to stop your audio? Otherwise, we can hear some background noise. Thank you. Now, what we're going to do now, I'm going to stop sharing and tell you a little story. And then we'll watch a video. The video is funny. Well, it can be considered funny. But the way I got to know about this video was because my little niece, Miriam, was watching it with my mother. And my sister and my mother were having an argument about whether this video was appropriate or not. It's a video of a prank. And it's not a nice prank, not for those who are the victims of the prank. What I'd like you to do, we're going to watch it. It's a 1-minute video. So we're going to watch it. And then we'll talk about what is happening in regards to emotional intelligence in this video and reflect on different types of responses. Are you with me? Ready? So I'm going to share YouTube this time, and let's watch this video and see what happens.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yes. That was very nice. That was very nice. We do to you. Ready? Yeah. What are we doing? Taking the house. Okay. Okay. Another one? Okay. You want to take this up? Yeah, don't act like I don't know that.
Okay, I'll stop the video, and I stopped sharing screen, and I'll stop the video. I'd like you to write in the chat, what are your feelings about it? How do you find it? Actually, my sister and my mother were having an argument on whether this video was a funny one or not. It was horrible. And my niece was looking at my mother like, are you my grandmother? Or like, what's wrong with you if you find this funny? How do you find this video? Let's hear some voices. Yeah, people are experiencing a sense of surprise, right? Why is my mother doing this to me? This never happened before. What else? What else are you feeling as you watch the video?
Unpleasant.
Unpleasant. Yeah, for the victims, it's not nice, right? What else? The most patient kids. Oh no, you'll find the link in the slides that I hope Lopa will share with you. And if you follow the links on the side on the previews, you'll see more videos of these. And sometimes they end with an egg fight. So not everyone is very disciplined, right? Now, what is happening in this video? So, of course, it's a prank. So the moms, guys, can you go mute, please? Seems a little bit immature, and it seems to be having fun at the expense of the kid. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. But what the mothers probably don't know is that this video is testing their kids' emotional intelligence, the personal part. So they are measuring themselves with something that is completely unexpected from their parent, from someone whom they trust. And they have a reaction that sometimes is a and like they feel unsettled, maybe surprised, sometimes they overreact, which is exactly what someone with lower emotional intelligence would do. So they can't control their reaction. Now, I've watched a few of these videos because I was particularly interested by what was going on for these kids. And I've identified a number of reactions. So the first one is what I call the what the hell. If you look at these little girls, I love them. I love this one in particular. They have such a weird face. Like looking at the mother, like, what's wrong with you? Like, what the hell is going on here? They are literally surprised and they are paralyzed. They can't do or say anything. There's a second type of reaction. This one I've called revenge. So these kids overreact. They can't control their emotions. No one is saying anything, but they just crack the egg on their parents. They just go for revenge because that's the way to vehiculate their, unexpected, the feeling of unexpected event. Third type of reaction. Oh, that's fun. We're gonna have an egg fight. Let's do it. Now, what's different with these guys? Let's write it in the chat. What are you noticing as you look at these pictures? And I've watched many of these. So what is different about these guys? Why are they not taking it seriously? Anyone?
Maybe they're enjoying it. Maybe they're enjoying it.
Yeah, they're taking it positively. Why? Why are they taking it positively? Or what else are you noticing about this type of reaction? Anyone? They see an opportunity to join in on the fun, not something at their expense. Yes, and they assume positive intent, right? They are not doing a bad thing to me. They want to have fun with me. Was there anything else you noticed on this picture? Which is interesting to me.
All are smiling.
Yes, and they're all boys.
Yeah, all boys.
I haven't found even one, who wasn't a boy. And, we were having a conversation in the car, and I have two boys, actually. They are teenagers. And we were talking about this in the car because I showed the video to them and I asked them what they felt. And my oldest son is 17. He said, Mom, if Dad did this to me, it would be an egg fight. If you did this to me, it wouldn't. And that's why imagine the prank is done by a peer, maybe a friend of theirs. It's a peer-to-peer relationship. There's no hierarchy or authority in the mix. And so if my friend does this to me, it's going to be a egg fight for sure, right? But if a parent or someone with authority does this to us, it's a different story. We're a little bit unsettled because we don't know how to react, right? It's maybe our manager. In this case, it's our mother. And so some kids are tempted to react, but they don't know because it's their mother. And then there's this little one. She's my hero. I call this type of reaction the one because she's the only one that is capable of doing something. What is it? Do you remember her? Or shall we play only this piece again?
I think she broke the egg on the parent's face, the head.
Yes, but she does something else.
She
Otherwise,
said that's not very nice.
yes, she is the only one capable of sharing how she feels. which is something that no one else has done in the video or in other videos. She said, "That wasn't very nice. Let me do this to you so that you feel how I feel." Do you see that difference? Wonderful. Then I'm going to stop sharing screen. And what I'd like us to do, we're going to go to breakout rooms. And I'd like you to think of a situation at work. Let me share this so you have the instructions. A situation at work where you were sort of a victim of unforeseen circumstances. So something unexpected happened to you and you didn't really know how to respond. Maybe there were strong emotions that were coming up for you. How did you feel? How did you react? And what would you do differently now? Or maybe what's the ideal response in such a situation? Now that you can think about it in a more logical way after we have watched this video. And so we're going to go to breakout room for about 10 minutes. And when we come back, we'll talk about it. Do you have any questions? Maybe I'll put the instructions in the chat before we go so that everyone has them. Do you have any questions about this activity?
Can we make up a situation?
Ideally, it's something that you really felt. But yes, if you don't have one, you can think about something that could trigger you and reflect on how you could potentially respond in a skillful way instead of overreacting. Thanks for asking. Any other questions before we go?
So, Lucia, I might have a suggestion. Like some of them are students, might not be working. So can we make it a little generic, like not just workplace, it can be.
Yeah, any situation. I mean, the prank wasn't about work, right? It was about making a cake, probably.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have a scenario in the workplace, think about a scenario in your private life when you were just upset by an unforeseen event and maybe you overreacted or you were about to and you managed to control yourself. What happened? How you felt? And what do you think is the most skillful response in this case? Okay. We could go for breakout rooms of a couple of people.
Yeah.
2 people. You decide, Lopa, depending on whether people have internet challenges here, they might drop or I don't know
think
exactly.
we can do a pair, so to give them a space and
Then let's give them 12 minutes.
yeah.
And
Yeah, Prabhat, would you be good? Yeah, thanks.
So we are going to make the pairwise, no?
Yeah.
And we have
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
6 room I'm going to make.
Okay. Let's see.
yeah. Excluding the 3 of us, we are 13.
Yeah. So one room will have 3.
Oh, thank you.
So I'm going to create 6 rooms.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, closing all rooms because I forget to mention the timing. My bad. So just give me 5 minutes is enough.
12 minutes.
12 minutes.
Yeah. Is that right, Lucia?
12.
Yeah.
Okay, and here is it. Open all room.
All right.
Thank you. I think we can pause the recording now because otherwise yeah. Welcome back. Let's hear from the people in breakout rooms. We won't go into the details of your stories, but let's maybe hear some voices or read in the chat. What is the impact of just reacting? Or even overreacting? Let's hear some voices.
People may get offended.
We can hear you.
People might have got offended.
I don't understand.
I thought he said people will get offended.
Oh, okay. Thank you. An unfiltered reaction which may have a negative consequence for both parties. Yes. And damage the relationship.
The other
And
person learns the same emotion. He learns the same way and he reacts the same way to us.
yes, absolutely. And what happens if this happens in a team, in a workplace? How will this impact the culture of the team?
You're embarrassed. The safety is, no longer there. Psychological safety is no longer there.
Yes. And so it will even, be toxic for the team. So it will influence dynamics of effective collaboration and teamwork within a team. Now I'm going to ask you a different, someone else is writing, negatively affect teamwork and crowd spirit. Absolutely. And so what is the ideal response? Let's see if someone can put it in nice words. Think about your situation. And I'm sure in your, as you were thinking about it, you said, oh, I should have done it this way instead, or I should have sent something different. What's the ideal response to a situation that upsets you or triggers you? Let's hear some voices or go ahead.
Maybe take a pause for your
Take a
response.
pause. Yes. Take a pause and what else?
Be mindful during tough situations and then react.
Yes. I would say respond instead of reacting as well. Let's say epsita, empathetically understand where the other person is coming from and truthfully but assertively and politely express how you feel. Beautifully said. So the little girl that I called the one, was capable of sharing how she feels. Now, sharing how we feel in an unforeseen and, unsettling situation can't be argued by anyone because it's how we feel. There's nothing wrong with it. And if we share how we feel politely and maybe followed by a constructive request, this can help us maintain the relationship and keep a constructive communication with the person in front of us. So I'm going to share screen once again because I want to show you a quote from Viktor Frankl. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. This is exactly the pause that Srinath was talking about. It's when we think about what's right to do. Instead of being dominated and overwhelmed by emotion, and then emotion drive our reaction, which will be probably an overreaction, very unskillful, we choose how to respond instead of reacting. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. Now, how do we grow how do we learn to pause, right? It's very difficult when you're super angry or agitated or, someone has just cracked a egg on your forehead. Oh, it's very difficult to be dominated by emotions. And so it's easy to see so many kids that didn't have their capability to control themselves. And so how do we grow these skills? Now, those were kids, so it's normal that their emotional intelligence is probably a little bit lower than the one of adults, but I'm sure you've all seen people in the workplace overreacting, right? So how do we, in the first place, grow emotional intelligence and how we help others grow emotion? Maybe people in our teams, right? There's a model that comes to help, and we're going to go through this ruler. It's an acronym. And we're going to go through this, and I'd like you to brainstorm questions that could help us in the first place, but help other people also increase their emotional intelligence. So the first R is about recognizing how we're feeling, right? The second is understand why are we feeling this way? Like what caused it? So in the prank case, my mom did a prank to me. I feel betrayed. I feel, angry. And so I understand that this is because it's an unexpected event. I'm able to say it, which is what the little kid did at the end, right? That wasn't very nice. she didn't say in effect how she felt, but she said, this is nice. It's not landing well for me. And I can express it. I can say it to someone else in an appropriate way, so skillfully, right? Constructively. And then I can regulate my emotion for a productive reaction. Now, think about that little kid, the one, where does she stop in the model? To what point does she get with a reaction?
She recognized the other.
She recognizes, she probably understands. What else?
She did it till E, I think.
She did
Expressing emotion.
yes, but then she couldn't regulate because she smashed the egg on her mom's forehead, right? Now think about all the other boys and girls. Where did they stop?
Didn't understand what you.
Say again.
I didn't get your point. What do you want to say? What you're asking?
The other people that overreacted, or maybe they just remained like this, what the hell is wrong with you? Where did they get in this model? Did they recognize their emotion? They
I
understand
don't think.
it? Epsita?
I don't know if they recognized it either.
They were regulating their emotions.
Yeah, for sure they were unable to label them, right? Or express them. No one of them expressed them apart from that little girl, right? Now, it's our job as coaches, if you are agile coaches or scrum masters, right? To help people navigate these challenging situations and support them in growing their emotional intelligence. Now, I'd like you to brainstorm some questions in the chat that could help people reflect on each of these letters in the model. For example, if I had to increase people awareness of how they're feeling, I would ask them, how is this making you feel? If I have to help them, I don't know, label or understand what's causing them, I would ask them, what buttons were pressed for you? And so on. So I'd like you to write questions in the chat that can help people, go down in this model and get to a point where we have a conversation about how they can regulate their emotion. Let's write a few examples in the chat. And feel free to share out loud if you want, if you prefer to talk. What are some questions? To increase people's self-awareness or self-regulation. Anyone?
Lucy, I'm wondering whether for labeling emotions, with the same question as how does it make you feel come again?
Yeah. So what different emotions are you experiencing now, for example? You can be a bit more specific. Or what emotions? What is the turbulence you're experiencing? What kind of emotions are you feeling? Yeah? How about the following? You want to give it a go? What do you need in this moment? Wonderful. Thank you. So where does this go? Abobak. I don't know how to pronounce your name correctly. Sorry.
Regulate.
Where would you put this? Where would this go? What do you need in this moment to support yourself with this emotion? Where does this go? It's an E, an R. Say again. Oh, Epsita, thank you. How am I feeling right now? Okay, what happened there? What caused me to feel this way? Wonderful. What might my knee-jerk reaction be? How can I react in a more appropriate manner? Yes, you're going through the whole model. Let me list all the main emotions and pick the one that jumps out of me the most, feels most right. Wonderful. How can I express this in an assertive but polite manner? And what can I do to manage the level of emotion I'm feeling right now? Yes. Or another one that I like is also this one. What is useful at this point? Because sometimes our overreaction are not useful or skillful, but they could damage our relationship. So instead, we can think about something that could be useful in the relationship, given how we feel. Does that make sense? Thank you so much. I love your answers. Thank you. And this one, I think it could go between here and here, right? Probably here a little bit more. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. So if we are coaches in particular, but also for your own self-reflection, when something happens to you and you're like, you feel like boom, something really strong emotions are coming up, you can think about this and ask yourself, what is the button that was pressed? Why was I feeling this way? And imagine putting your emotion in tiny little jars and a label on it. What is it? I feel angry. I feel agitated. I feel disappointed. I feel threatened, maybe. I was attacked once by a colleague in front of my line manager, and I overreacted. So I felt threatened. I felt it was unfair. I felt my reputation was at risk, and I got really defensive about it. Now, other tips to develop your own emotional intelligence. Using mindfulness, which is a topic that is very close to my heart. Now, I don't know if you know much about mindfulness, but the definition of mindfulness is about being focused in a present moment with an open, curious attitude and without judgment. So mindful practices are all the activities, starting by meditation, which is probably the most famous one, that help you stay focused and, look inside yourself to understand how you feel and why you're feeling this way. And they can really, really help you understand what's going on for you. Sometimes there's so much turbulence, so many emotions all together that it's really, really hard to put labels on them because they're all mixed. How to prioritize self-care. Imagine we go to meetings with our team with unfinished business, or maybe with something that has just happened that got us really upset. How likely are we to overreact instead of staying calm? So taking some time to, cool down and, leave any pending business, pending activities outside of the door when we are in service of others could be another way. But generally speaking, is about practicing focus activities that force you to stay in the present moment. Who of you is doing any of this? What are some examples of activities you do that keep you focused, grounded, and calm in the present moment? Let's hear some examples. Who wants to say it out loud? Anyone? Do we have any?
Meditation.
You are meditating. Breathing techniques, absolutely. Focus on your breath. But it's not just meditation. So breathing is another form, breathing techniques are another meditation. Positive affirmation, yes, gratitude, or any form of journaling can help you reflect and look inside yourself to understand yourself better. And you can't help others if you haven't done that work on yourself. So before you're able to grow group emotional intelligence and understand and control the emotions of others, you have to do this work on yourself. Yes, it's about appreciating. Yes, that's incredibly strong. And also any other activities like manual arts. Imagine manual arts, imagine practicing any sports or playing an instrument. Those are all mindful activities. They force your attention, focus attention in a present moment with no judgment. And they are incredibly useful to keep yourself grounded and emotionally in balance. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. Do you want to tell us what it is, Epsita?
It's naming 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Any other shares? Okay. Any questions you have or any takeaways from what we have discussed today? How can this impact the work you do?
I was curious why it was only the boys that had the positive reactions. Is there a particular reason or hypothesis?
But boys tend to take things more lightly and assume positive intent. We take things a bit seriously, to be honest. I can see myself in that. Like, if it happened to me, I would be one of the, what the hell? Like, what's wrong with you? Really? Are you doing this to me? Why? Probably I wouldn't overreact, but I would be upset. My son would start the egg prank, the egg fight. What else are you taking away? What kind of reflection did this spark in you?
Lucia, a quick question on labeling emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, when you talk about emotions, you talk about sadness, fear, anger, disgust, right? And you won't go beyond those 4 or 5. Typically.
Great. So yes, that's true. And that's why having a language for emotion, I'm looking for something for you. Having a language for emotions. So if you Google images about emotion names, you'll find plenty of pictures. For example, this one. Let me share it. I'm going to copy the link here in the chat. Having a language for emotion can be a really powerful tool for people who have low emotional intelligence, because you can just put one of these pictures in front of them and ask them, where are you here? Right? We normally use 4 or 5 words, 6, 7, maybe, but there's so much to say about how we feel. And sometimes it's not just even one, there's more than one, and they're all mixed together. And so by looking at something that is like a visual support, I saw another one at some point where there were like emotions that make us feel good and emotions that make us feel bad. And so that can be, such a useful tool to help us navigate the complexity of what we feel. Thanks for asking. Any other takeaways or questions? Otherwise, I have another question for you. Okay, I'll shoot. I do a lot of work to help my teams grow their emotional intelligence. What do you think teams with high emotional intelligence, group emotional intelligence, can achieve that other teams can't? Let's write it in the chat, or maybe share it out loud if you want to. So the question is, what can teams with high group emotional intelligence achieve? Or what's the experience of being in those teams?
The team will be highly motivated.
Why? Efficient communication. They can talk about anything. Yes. What else?
Team collaboration.
Yes, if they can talk about anything, they can also address, diversity of opinion in a constructive way. They're not going to overreact. So their relations are going to be, they're going to be transparent. The relationship are going to be healthy. And that leads to trust, right? And we know that trust is the basis of any constructive team dynamic. I don't know if you read the book, The 5 Dysfunction of a Team, but trust is the basis of everything. They can have constructive conflict. Yes, someone else was speaking.
They will
And
feel
met the
safe.
deadlines always easily.
Say again, sorry.
Actually, they meet their deadlines easily as a team collaborate.
Yeah. They can achieve better results for sure. Wonderful. So now
They
you
feel
see the value of growing people emotional intelligence around you. Epsita, more accepting of feedback and flows. Yes, absolutely. They can, because they can pause. And if they can pause, they can choose to listen to the feedback instead of reacting to it. Less of assumptions. Nixon, what were you saying? Anything
So
else?
so that's the team. The bond is very important. So we can build the bond. So they can trust each other.
Yes, correct. And as Aryan is saying, they feel emotionally and psychologically safe. So having the capability to communicate constructively about what they feel and about what they need different builds trust, and it's a great enabler of team collaboration, team effectiveness, and excellent results. So now I'm sure you see why this is important. We're getting close to the end of today, so I'm going to share a screen once again to invite you to stay connected and share also the my giveaway, the discount I promised at the beginning. So a couple of ways to stay connected. You can follow me on LinkedIn or look at the website. There's an incredible blog written not just by myself, but also by the other instructors of the school. There's the book that went out in November and has been an Amazon bestseller for some time. It talks about the human aspect of the coach and how you can grow yourself to be able to help others more effectively. And then for those of you who are going for ICF certifications, I host every 2-3 weeks free coaching dojos. What are these? We get together and we practice coaching. This means there is one coach, one client, and the other people observe for about 20 minutes. And at the end of it, we give feedback to the coach so that the coach can grow in their coaching skills and improve their practice. And we do 2 rounds of this in each session. It's about 1 hour 15, probably a little bit late for you. Let me check. It's 6:30 my time, so it's about 9:30, 10 for you, correct? Yeah, but during summertime, I guess it's shorter because you don't change.
9:30 p.m. India time.
So in April, it's going to be your 9:30, and the next one is in April, actually. And so for those of you who are willing to go for certification, for ICF certificate, coaching certification, this is a great opportunity. We are also starting an introductory coaching course in September. So if you're willing to participate, get in touch with me and I'll be happy to assist you or give you a discount because of the incredible exchange rate that is not so advantageous to you. But the giveaways are 3 discounted tickets. It's a 50% discount only for you. I don't give this to other people because I understand that India has a It's not really great to convert, from Indian currency to euros. And this course is about helping you focus on the present moment and leverage your present experience for the benefit of your clients. So it's for people who are coaches, who are going for coaching certification. If you have any questions, so you want to reach out to me because you're unsure if this course is for you, I'm happy to have a chat with you. So just contact me on LinkedIn. Otherwise, you can use the coupon code MANUS15 and you will get the registration link here from Lopa. Lopa will share the slides. Any questions, guys? Anything you want to share before we wrap up? How can I improve my understanding and recognition of subtle or complex emotions in myself and others? That model is a great start. The ruler model is a great start. I would also encourage you to read a book that is called Permission to Feel. I'm going to share the link in the chat. So it's I share it on Amazon.com, but of course you'll have your Indian dispatcher. I found this, it's not about coaching. It's a book about feeling and about, unlocking the power of your emotions. And I found this incredibly helpful. It's by a PhD, Mark Brackett. Any other question, guys? Anything you'd like to share that you've learned or anything you'd like to know that we haven't covered?
Lucy, I have one question actually. So I have set of the people of in my team. So they are somehow when I was speaking with them or when I have a meeting with them, they'll be a little bit motivated. But within a minute or within a things they'll be forgot. So how I can motivate them actually? Because they are not understanding the seriousness of the next level of growth for them. So usually I manage the people of 10 people. So whenever I have the meeting with them, I tried my best and they are motivated. But within a day, they again demotivated. They are not that much think about their future as much as
Mhm.
I am.
So if I was you, I would try to understand the reasons for this. And this could be an exercise. I don't know how much safety there is to open up and speak in the group. But for
Mhm.
example, a good way could be to talk about their fears, their hopes, and their worst nightmares of being in that team and see what happens. So what emerges? How are they feeling about being part of that team? And what is happening for them? What keeps them, motivated and what demotivates them. There's a nice exercise. I don't know if you know about the moving motivators.
Mhm.
This moving motivators. It's actually a physical set of cards.
Okay.
And you can, let me share this in the chat. And you can get to know your team a little bit better. Let me share screen so I show you what I'm looking at. So this is a technique from Management 3.0. And it can be useful if you're a manager or you're leading a team to ask your team to order these motivators by priority. What's more important for them that keeps them motivated?
Okay. But as
Okay.
per my understanding, they have a lot of laziness, as per my knowledge.
Yeah, but the laziness might come for a reason. Maybe I don't know, maybe they don't feel they are valued in the company. Maybe
Mhm.
they don't have the power to decide how to implement, I don't know, technical solutions. And so what is at stake here is their mastery. Or maybe they feel they should have a different role. So what is at stake here is their status.
Okay.
So when I did this with one of my teams in the past, I asked them to put this in order, right?
Mhm.
Example, if I was a team member, I would put freedom at the top. Freedom is an important value for me in a
Mhm.
team, right? I want to be able to make decisions and feel that my opinion is valued and is taken into consideration. And I want to be able to make choices as well. Now, if I was the coach of Lucia, I would ask Lucia, how much do you feel that freedom is you're being given freedom is in this team? Because freedom
Yeah.
is important to me, but how much do I feel free in this team? Because if I don't have freedom, I'll probably leave. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. Actually, for freedom and all, I already given everything. Whatever I have, I already given. But somehow I am unable to. Okay, I'll try. I'll try this one.
Yeah,
Thank,
thank you. Thanks for
thank
sharing
you.
your challenge.
Yeah,
Anyone?
sure.
Anyone having any question?
So, Lucy, a quick question add on to what Nixon had pointed out. So, let's say we found out that, for example, status is something one person had talked about as number one. Someone else had freedom. Someone else had, recognition or whatever. So, how do you, in a team of say 10 people, how do you manage to get, these sort of priorities sorted out? And probably, get to hear what their thoughts are in each of these aspects, which could be different.
It's about getting to know them individually so that you can balance. This is for managers, okay? Not so much for coaches. But
Yeah.
if I was a manager of my team, I would like to know what keeps them alive in the team, right? Maybe not everyone is, maybe some want to be praised. Maybe some want to be in charge because they are natural leaders. So we have to understand these to keep them engaged. Otherwise, they become just, machines, and they come, and after a bit, maybe you lose them because they come and hit the chair.
Okay, so it's more of a individual exercise than a group exercise.
It's more about, it's a group exercise that helps a manager understand what keeps the people engaged and maybe what's missing in the current reality.
Thank you, Lucia.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Hi, Lucia. Hi.
Hi, Moana.
Emotional intelligence. Yeah. So in one of my organizations, I had a lot of problem with one of the sales leaders. We used to have email wars. I mean, I used to try to be as professional and polite as possible. And if I would talk about A, he would talk about B and C, but nothing related to the point of A. Right. So I think there also, especially I feel in written communication, where the tone has to be even more super. I mean, one has to be really careful because you're not hearing or seeing the person. I think there also a lot of emotional intelligence comes into picture of how you put it through. Sometimes I feel I was right, but the other person may still feel I wasn't. But yeah, that has been a challenge. And obviously, I never had a good rapport with that person even till the end of my last day with the company. And but I also, there were reasons that the person had other issues, not with me in particular. It was in general with the HR department throughout his tenure with the organization. So it was a legacy that he was carrying. But unfortunately, things could not get better.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, some people make it difficult more than others. And that's, down to personality. But as much as you can, I would encourage you to be open about how you feel and follow up with a constructive request. So if there's something that doesn't work well for me in a relationship, I always try to share, this isn't working for me. I felt, I don't know, disappointed because of this. In the future, would you please do this differently, which is a constructive, non-violent way to share your perception of reality, but also what you need different from the other person to collaborate better together. I don't know if you read the book Nonviolent Communication. This could be a great inspiration. Communication. It's a great book, really great book. I'm giving you a lot of reading, guys. Don't hate me. Thanks for asking, Moana.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Anyone else having any question? I mean, it seems like no questions.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
And
Thanks,
your
Lucia. I
today.
mean, thanks, great. Thanks, Lucia. Lopa, you have something to share, please?
No, I would just say thanks, Lucia, and thanks for everybody who joined and asking some interesting questions and sharing their perception. It was really a learning experience for me, and I am sure you also had some great takeaways
I think for
from
all
that.
of us.
Yes,
And
thank you.
I really loved your ruler, RUL, the concept of specifically in the emotions intelligence, that tool. And thanks to everyone who joined. Thanks, Lucia. Also, you shared a really good content over here. We learned a lot. We are Lopa, Jairam, and I. We are from the Agile Coaching Circle India, a small family, but growing day by day. So looking forward to you, Lucia, again in our presentation sometime.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
And we will share the recording and the content.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I'll send you the PDF of the slides.
Yes.
And Lopa will also share the PPT of the slide specifically where the registration required the 50%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll do that. Yeah.
That will be
Yes,
helpful.
yes.
Actually,
Yeah.
I'm the late comer. Actually, I just missed. I have
No
done.
problem, Nixon. You can go through the recording and
Recording
we'll
is,
take
yeah,
care.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
everyone.
Thanks, bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Lopa.
Bye.
Thank you, Prabhat.
Thanks,
Namaste.
bye. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thanks, bye.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Lucia.